On one hand, you talk about the plight of the child who is not in school because he or she doesn't know the value of education. On the other side, you talk about the child who is from a home where the value of education is appreciated, but they are resource poor. They do not have the funding to send such a child to school. Some of us come from places where our parents, especially our mothers, had to sell their wrappers to send their children to school. And on this note, I'll advise that government should maintain free and qualitative education for primary and secondary schools. We must ensure adequate security in our schools to restore the confidence of pupils and stakeholders. There has to be proper teacher recruitment and training and retraining of teachers. Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that as I speak to you, there are still schools in the hinterlands where English as a language is being taught in native.
Leader.
Still teach English language in Igbo or Hausa because that's the much they know. Like the Latin maxim says, nemo dat quid non habet, you can't give what you don't have. So proper attention to be paid to recruitment of the right persons to teach the children rather than teaching being an all-comers affair. There should be proper budgeting, budgetary provision, like some of my colleagues have said, and we have to increase advocacy on the awareness for education, especially in the north, where people have not come to terms with the need to break beyond religious or cultural barriers, and government should step into that. Advocacy should also be carried out by each one of us. Each one can engage in such activities as part of our constituency projects. There has to be engagement of key stakeholders, traditional rulers, national orientation agencies, civil society organizations, and we can also support our alma mater and in our various alumni associations to encourage child enrollment. On this note, I suggest there could be a national school enrollment awareness summit. We should declare war against child labor, especially domestic labor, where you still have today children roaming in the houses and households of many Nigerians, tending to their domestic needs, carrying their babies, while the children of these rich people are enrolled in school. So I put it as a moral question to us, to we parents, to ensure that the children who come around us are put on the same priority list as our own children. If your children must go to school, then the children of your relatives who come around you must also go to school. They shouldn't stay in your house in exchange for education, while you trade in that basic right for domestic chores. Mr. Speaker, on this note, I suggest we set up a task force or committee to enforce compulsory school enrollment to ensure that every child who desires to go to school is enrolled. Thank you.